Welcome to Hey, It's Carly Rae's Book Club. This is Book Hour, where authors will talk their latest novels, reveal their writing process, and play some fun book games. I'm your host, Carly Rae. Today we have author Eileen Moskowitz-Palma. We're going to be talking about her new middle grade series, The Popularity Pact, how she came up with the concept for Camp Clique and School Squad, if she always wanted to write middle grade fiction, and find out if there will be more books in the Popularity Pact series. Plus, we're going to find out if Eileen could pick one movie to be her life, which it would be. We'll jump in right after this. Hello, Eileen. Tell us where you're joining us from.
Hi, Carly Rae. I live in a suburb outside of Manhattan called White Plains, which is kind of like a mini Manhattan. And I live in the downtown area. And when this comes out, things will be kind of calmed down. But literally in the past few hours, we just found out that the election results are finally in and official. So here and there, you might hear a little celebrating outside my window because there have been, car horns honking and people cheering, and it's just such a great day. And some of the excitement might kind of pop in here or there throughout our interview.
Well, I'm excited to have you on today, so that's good to hear cheering.
Definitely.
Now there are two books in your series, The Popularity Pact, Camp Clique and School Squad. Here is a close-up of the covers. They are middle grade fiction and have gotten amazing reviews. School Library Journal says of Camp Clique, this is a powerful middle grade novel about the difficulty of both forgiveness and trust, as well as the nature of true friendship. Recommended for collections seeking summer camp fiction with depth. Tell viewers who haven't heard of your series what they can expect.
Okay, thank you. That was a great introduction. So this is the series. The series is called The Popularity Pact. The first book is Camp Clique, and the second book is School Squad. And so this is a series about two girls who were best friends since preschool. So best friends their whole lives. That's, sorry, I have it backwards. That's B, and that's Maisie. And all of a sudden in sixth grade, Maisie dropped B without telling her why and started hanging out with the popular girls at school, the M&Ms. And so B has just spent all of sixth grade feeling alone, not having anyone to sit with at lunch, and just really having a hard year at school. So B can't wait to go to summer camp because she has a bunk full of best friends waiting for her. So that's like her happy place. She can't wait to get there. And of course, Maisie ends up at camp with her, not just at camp, but in her bunk. So Maisie, who is the queen bee at school, gets to camp, and it's an adventure camp. And Maisie is the least adventurous, least athletic girl ever, and she does not fit in at camp. So Maisie, who's used to fitting in everywhere, all of a sudden is facing an entire summer being stranded at this camp where nobody likes her. So B capitalizes on that, and she makes a pact with Maisie and says, I'll make you popular at camp if you make me popular when we go back to school. So Camp Clique is about what happens when B helps Maisie fit in at camp, and School Squad picks up literally right where Camp Clique left off. And it's all about what happens when it's Maisie's turn to hold up her end of the pact and help B get popular at school. So that's the series.
Yeah. Well, they take place from different characters' perspectives. Did you enjoy writing from one of the characters' viewpoints better?
It's so funny because I thought I would really feel closer to one girl than the other. But it's almost as if they're both my daughters and I would never be able to pick which was a favorite. I have an only child, so I always tell my daughter she's my favorite. But when I was writing both characters, I was worried that maybe I would feel closer to one than the other and it would show in the pages. But honestly, I truly enjoyed writing both of their storylines. And the places where I had the most fun as a writer is when the girls got themselves into trouble. So B in particular makes quite a few mistakes in the second book. And I really enjoyed digging into those situations where she went down the wrong path because it was just fun as a writer to shake things up. And Maisie really struggles with anxiety. And I'm an anxious person naturally. So it was really, and I'm also not very athletic. I was like the last person picked in gym class every year all through school. So it was really fun to put myself in Maisie's shoes, what it would be like to be at an adventure camp with all these athletic people and to not fit in. So I really had fun with both girls, and it was a nice reprieve. You know, I would get into one girl's storyline and then I'd shift perspectives. And so it really made the writing part fun and interesting.
Yeah. Where did you come up with the idea for the Popularity Pact series?
Okay, so have you ever read Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Big Magic?
No.
Okay, so it's a book all about being a creative person, an artist and a writer. And Elizabeth Gilbert has this theory that ideas are almost like these beings that sort of float through the universe and they come and visit us. And it's up to us to decide if we're going to accept that idea and make it into some kind of art. It sounds very woo-woo, I have to say, but 100% that is what happened to me. I was in a car on a long car ride with my husband and my daughter, and I swear it was like this idea flew in the open window and came to me in a burst. And I sat up in my seat and I said to my husband and daughter, I have this book idea. And I even had the title. I said, you know, what if there's this girl who's a queen bee at school and she gets to camp and she can't fit in, and the girl who can't fit in at school is the queen bee at camp, and they make a pact. And so it just came to me. But I don't think it was all magic. I think the reason it came to me and I was receptive to it is because as a mom, one of the things that I have seen time and time again are kids who fit in really well in one part of their world, but struggle to find their place in another. So you might have a kid who's like the captain of their travel soccer team, but they have no one to sit with at lunch at school. Or someone who fits in really well at school, but they do an outside activity and they can't fit in. And because I have seen that time and time again, I think that was in the back of my mind. So when this magical idea came to me, it made sense.
Yeah. What message do you hope readers take away after reading Camp Clique and School Squad?
I'm so glad you asked that because, you know, with the word popularity in the title, I wonder that people think it's a fluff story. The main message through both books is that authentic friendship is more important than fitting in. And in the first book, Camp Clique, Maisie's on that journey to learn that lesson. And so when Camp Clique finishes, Maisie has learned that. B, on the other hand, it takes her all of School Squad and a lot of mistakes along the way before B gets that message. But through both books, both of the girls learn that message in different ways. And there's an underlying message to it too, about being authentic is not just important with our friendships. It's important with family members and anyone else in our life who's important to us. And so, yeah, so that is the big takeaway that I hope all readers get.
I think that's really great. I love that.
Thank you. I worked really hard to get that in, you know, without being cheesy. You want kids to really grab onto it without them feeling like you're teaching them a lesson. So I worked really hard on that.
Yeah. One thing I'm curious about is if you wrote Camp Clique and School Squad back to back.
That's such a good question. Okay, so The books were sold as a duology. I had never heard that term before. We all hear about trilogies. I had never heard of a 2-book series being referred to that way. And so the way my agent did it is we had the completed manuscript for Camp Clique, and then she asked me to do a detailed synopsis of School Squad. So when I submitted it, I sold it that way. So I wrote Camp Clique. And then once it was sold, after I did the synopsis of School Squad, I got busy right away writing School Squad. And then there were moments in that process where I was in the middle of copy edits for Camp Clique while I was in the middle of writing the first draft for School Squad. But it was really good for me to move back and forth to remind myself of the trajectory the girls were on.
Yeah, it allowed you to kind of keep the story flowing.
It really did, yes.
You heard Eileen talk all things Popularity Pact. Stay tuned, because when we return, we're going to find out how this former elementary school teacher got involved in writing middle grade fiction.
Coffee. The liquid that helps us start our day or keeps us going at 2 p.m. when our keyboard pillow nap comes calling. You're good. At Fire Department Coffee, we know how important it is to you that your coffee tastes great. Because let's face it, when you're choking down 8 to 10 cups of bean juice a day running back-to-back calls, or just trying to keep your wits together while your well-behaved children tug at every last strand of your sanity, we want to make sure that every last drop in your mug is the best coffee you've ever tasted.
Who are you talking to?
That's why at Fire Department Coffee, every stage of your order is watched after by carefully trained professional eyes, like our head roaster, retired fire captain Dave from our R&D department that's always striving to make sure that your next cup of Fire Department coffee is the perfect balance of wonderful taste and the caffeinated motivation that you need to get through your day.
There has got to be a better way of testing this.
Probably. Making sure that you get your orders delivered to you as quickly and affordably as possible. Hey, Doris, you know you're the only lady I hand deliver to.
Oh, thank you, Jason. I was wondering if you could help me. I think my cat is stuck in the attic again.
Are you sure he's up here, Doris? It's really hot. I can't see anything.
Oh, I'm sure he's still up there. Why don't you take off your shirt? You wouldn't want to overheat.
I'm not falling again for that, Doris.
And at the end of the day, we're just thankful that we get to follow our passion of making high-quality coffee for thousands of hardworking people all across the world. So thank you for your support, and we look forward to making each and every one of your days better, one cup of coffee at a time.
Cut.
Woo! Good job, guys. Very, very nice. Smooth.
A lady named Doris just ordered a couple bags of coffee and asked for it to be delivered by her steamy ginger firefighter.
Oh, that lady is relentless.
Welcome back to Book Hour. I'm your host, CarlyRae, here with author Eileen Moskowitz-Palma. Eileen, you are a former elementary school teacher. What inspired you to get into writing novels?
So I was that kid growing up who took out every single book in the library. When I was a beginning reader, I worked my way through all the picture books. Then I moved up to the beginning chapter books and on. And I would bring home stacks of books and keep begging my mom to take me back. So it was inevitable that I was going to be a writer one day. I also always wanted to be a teacher. So here I am all these years later, and I'm writing novels, and I teach novel writing at Sarah Lawrence College's The Writing Institute. But I figured if I was going to work my way through every single series, like The Babysitter's Club and Sweet Valley High, I may as well write my own.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell us more about your writing journey. What was it like getting an agent?
It was amazing to get not just an agent, but an agent that was such a great fit for me on my own journey. I had another agent for my first book, which was a romantic comedy, and I needed to get a new agent who specialized in middle grade and young adult fiction. And so I went through the regular process where I sent out queries, and when the person who's now my agent called me, we had this wonderful phone conference. Her name is Lauren Gallett of the LKG agency, and she hit all the criteria for what I personally needed. She, number one, is a top-notch business person, which I really need because I'm not naturally a business person. She also gives incredible editorial feedback on your manuscript to let you know if you need to make any revisions. And the most important is that she's approachable and she is always available for questions if I'm worried about something or I don't understand something, or if I read the contract and don't quite get it. So I hit the trifecta, and I'm really happy to be working with her.
So you haven't always been drawn to middle grade fiction, or have you? Do you read a lot in that genre?
So when I'm writing, it's hard for me to read other middle grade books because I'm really nervous. And I've heard other writers say this too. You get really nervous about accidentally copying someone with their style. So it's hard for me. I will say Judy Blume is my favorite middle grade author. I also love Raina Tegelmeier, Smile, Guts. I love her books. And I do spend most of my time reading student submissions. So I teach novel writing at Sarah Lawrence College's The Writing Institute. I teach 2 year-long intensive classes. So every week I have the pleasure and honor of reading manuscripts that are works in progress. And so I read middle grade and YA books for one of my class and all genres of manuscripts for my other. So most of my reading is student work and I love it. It's just such a pleasure to take a break from my own writing and help someone else with theirs.
Yeah. Well, talk to us about how you prefer to write a novel. Do you get the entire picture of the story, then start writing, or do you take it chapter by chapter, outlining it?
Okay, so a lot of people ask this, like, are you a plotter or a pantser? I am a firm believer in plotting. I always tell my students, like, you know how you watch one of those baking challenges with the super elaborate fancy cakes? Well, those chefs know the basic vanilla cake recipe, right? You can't make a big, elaborate, crazy cake if you don't have the foundation first and all the right ingredients. And I feel like it's the same thing with novels. So I always start after I figured out who my characters are, who they are, what they want, what's standing in their way. And I always know the key plotting points. And then people will say, well, how does the magic happen then if you have it figured out? I believe that the magic comes in connecting the dots. So if you have a framework for your story, the magic then comes when you sit down and you're creative in terms of how you make it happen and how you connect all the pieces. So that's how I roll. And it's less stressful for me that way because I'm a bit of a control freak.
Well, you heard Eileen talk about how she crafts her novels. Stay tuned because when we return, it is game time.
Oh no, I'm getting nervous.
Welcome back. It is game time. The first game we're going to play is Table Topics. Eileen, I'm going to ask you hypothetical questions and you're going to answer them.
Okay.
All right. The first one is, if you could pick one movie to be your life, what movie would it be?
Hands down, the entire Harry Potter series. And I would be a Gryffindor for sure.
If you had to wear one outfit for the rest of your life, what outfit would you pick?
Okay, I recently acquired a jogger romper. So comfy joggers put into a romper. And that is hands down like wearing pajamas all day. So that would be it.
If you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for?
Oh my goodness, this is a tricky one. Okay, I do have chronic autoimmune disease. And so I would wish that I could finally resolve that. That would be great. More time with my husband and daughter, and obviously a cure and treatment for COVID-19, I guess should really be the first one so our world can get back up and running and open again.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. All right. The fourth one is, if you could go back and be any age, what age would you pick?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. It's so weird. I wouldn't pick any. I feel like I find, my whole book is about being your authentic self. And I feel like I'm in a great place. I feel really confident in who I am, and like my life path finally came together. And so I don't think I would go back.
Yeah. And the last one is, if you could live anywhere, where would you live?
Okay, I'm going to say, I guess I'm a hard one with these. I would say where I am now. My husband and I have been together for over 20 years, since college, and we are first-time home buyers. So for our 20th wedding anniversary, we finally stopped being renters and bought our first home. So I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, except for here, because it took us a really long time to get in this place. So here is perfect. White Plains, New York, in my new home.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and now we are going to play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And I'm going to ask you questions from wehavekids.com.
Okay, I'm a little nervous about this because I work with kids all the time, and I'm going to have to let them know that they're smarter than me, I think.
Well, you are our first ever author to play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? So let's see how well you do.
Okay.
All right. The first one is, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first two men in the entire world to do what?
Land on the moon.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
All right. Got one. All right.
Okay.
Second one. Italy, Japan, and Germany's alliance was called what during World War II?
Oh my God. I feel so dumb. I'm panicking, and it's this is terrible. This is like an easy question. I'm getting nervous and I can't think of it.
It was the Axis of Evil.
No, I didn't know that. Okay.
All right. So you're tied. You got 1-1. So you're still doing good. All right. The next one. Julius Caesar was the emperor of what empire?
Rome?
Yes.
I'm starting to panic.
All right. The next one. From who did the United States buy territory from in the Louisiana Purchase?
Oh my goodness. It wasn't the Native Americans.
No. It was a European country.
Yeah, I feel like it was Spain. Okay, I have no idea. Oh, French. Wasn't it French?
Yes.
Yeah, France. Sorry. I'm thinking how everyone speaks French on there. Sorry, it was France. Okay, it took me 3 tries. Doesn't really count. Okay.
Well, I didn't give you the answer, so you got it right. All right. The last one is, what was the name of the last queen of France?
Oh my goodness.
There was a movie made in like, I guess, on or for her storyline.
Oh my God. Catherine? No.
Kristen Dunst was in it.
Yeah, I'm drawing oh my goodness. It was the woman who said, let them eat cake. Marie Antoinette.
Yes. Ding, ding, ding. So you are smarter than a fifth grader, Eileen.
I don't know. That was pretty close. I don't even know if I feel like I can honestly say that.
Well, technically, you only missed one.
Okay. I got some clues along the way.
Well, that concludes our game time. Eileen, I want to thank you for being on Book Hour and joining us today. Before you go, tell viewers if you're writing more books.
I am. I'm in the process of writing a new book. It's not a sequel to this series. For now, he and Maisie are all set. I don't know if I'll revisit them in the future, but I'm currently writing a mashup of a Freaky Friday, Back to the Future kind of storyline. Body swapping and time travel. And it's called 6th Grade Switch. And that's the book I'm currently writing.
Huh, that's awesome. I'm really excited to check that one out.
Thank you.
Now, if viewers want to follow you on social media, where can they find you?
Okay, I'm really active on Instagram. I post on my stories every day so you can get a sense of what it's like to be an author. So that's Eileen Moskowitz-Palma, just like on my name there. You can also go on my website. I am doing a lot of virtual programming for kids through the pandemic. So check out my website for information there. I'm also on Facebook, but I would say Instagram and my website are the top two places where I'm most active.
You heard Eileen. Go check her out now. All of her social media handles are in the description below. Eileen, thank you for being on Book Hour. And for those watching, I hope you have a great day.
Thank you for having me.